You can get into a technology job without ever walking onto a college campus, and the ladder for growth is unlimited. I've been preaching this message for years, partnered with Bethel Tech, one of the great technology boot camps in all of the country. Our listeners are going to them and winning big. So I had Ryan Collins stop by recently. He was in town, and I wanted to talk to him about the trades, education tech, new collar skills. Here is my conversation with Ryan Collins. Check it out. All right, Ryan, let's talk about trades and education.
Yeah.
And in that conversation, I want to dive into what I believe is true, that technology jobs, they're the new trades.
Yep.
Would you agree? Is that factually, can we say that? And what I mean by that to our listener, to the viewer, is technology jobs don't require a 4-year degree.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's interesting. About 10 years ago, Ginny Rometty, she's the former CEO of IBM. She coined this phrase that's impacted me. It's so good for the season that we're in. It's called new collar skills. So we're moving into a season in the workforce where it's not defined by blue collar or white collar, but new collar skills that are immediately applicable skills that companies are falling over themselves to find quality talent. And overwhelmingly, those new collar skills would point to anything in tech. So software development, cybersecurity, data science and data analytics. We've got blockchain now. So these companies are not requiring you to have a 4-year or even a 2-year degree. They can't wait that long.
Yeah.
There's such a gap in talent that they're saying, if you have the skills, however you got them, if you can prove to us that you're proficient in these areas, we'll hire you.
Yeah.
And we're going to hire you for a good pay. I mean, the starting pay can be anywhere from $80,000 to $150,000.
Right. And that's just getting in.
Yeah.
So do you have a snapshot right now on what the gap is in technology jobs? Because I know the greater numbers, you got about 9.5 million jobs available in this country, maybe 6.5, 7 million unemployed. These are, technically saying I actually want to work.
Yeah.
I reported on my show recently that we have a dearth of 600,000 manufacturing jobs. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
By the way, many of those jobs could be tech jobs.
Yeah, there's some overlap there.
So what give us a snapshot of what you're seeing right now as it relates to the amount of tech jobs that are available and what that looks like.
Yeah, well, it's continuing to grow. And as we have new technologies, it will continue to grow. So there was a recent report that said that by the year 2030, so we're almost to 2024.
That's right.
So not in the not too distant future, that 85% of the jobs that will exist have not even been created yet.
Wow.
And overwhelmingly, that will be in tech.
Right.
And so the numbers that have been put out over the last couple of years is that in the next few years, there'll be a 1 million job shortfall in tech talent.
Wow.
And there's only one qualified candidate for every 3 open positions.
Okay, let's stop there.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It means,
as best as you can in a crystal ball, what happens to the economy?
Yep.
What happens to the nature of getting people in the tech space when there's 1 million jobs unfilled?
Yeah, well, that's a really big question. I would say that, one, employers can't wait for you to learn for 4 years. They need you now. Mm-hmm. And so if we continue to go down that paradigm, there's going to be a shortfall, and it's going to hinder the innovation that we need in terms to move our economy forward.
So then what will businesses do? If they see that coming, they're going to make a change.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of things. And so this is a very hot topic right now. It is, one, you'll continue to outsource, and there's some pros and cons to that. But then
outsourcing being international.
Yeah, overseas.
Okay.
But then 2, this is where if we can't find the human talent, they'll figure out ways to augment that with artificial talent, artificial intelligence.
Right.
So this is where the conversation about is AI going to replace our jobs? I really don't think that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think that AI will actually create more jobs.
I think so too, because it's going to require this human talent to make the AI work. You and I have had a long form discussion about this. You can actually, we'll link to that conversation because Ryan gave us some great insight on that. So we'll provide a link because I want to stay on this topic. So what I'm hearing then is that companies are going to have to innovate how they hire.
Exactly.
They're going to have to go, all right, I'm going to train them on the job.
Yep.
Or I'm going to work with companies like Bethel Tech.
Yes.
And I'm going to say, I got to partner with them. And you said to me recently that companies are more and more open to the tech trade schools like Bethel Tech.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why are they so much open to this?
Well, because they're not getting ready-to-work graduates from the university system like they want.
Okay.
So there was a survey, I think it was Gallup, it's probably 10 years ago, and the Gallup surveyed 100 executives at major companies to ask them, how confident are you that you're getting ready-to-work graduates from the university system? Mm-hmm. And 11% of them said that they feel confident they're getting ready-to-work graduates. Now, the same survey then flipped it and asked 100 university presidents, how confident are you that you're producing ready-to-work graduates? 98% of those university presidents said that they're confident they're producing ready-to-work graduates. So there's this massive chasm in expectation and perception on what a ready-to-work graduate is. So what used to be the standard of getting a bachelor's degree as that credential is no longer holding up. So companies are saying, you know what? I don't care where you got your skill. I need to know that you have the skill.
Right.
And so whether that's from a boot camp like Bethel Tech, or it's from a community college or a university, or if it's just real world experience that you've aggregated over your career, I just want to see that you can do the job. And if I can get you in to do the job, then I can train you up to continue to learn in the areas that are important to our company.
And what type of, we're looking at really attractive starting salaries.
Yeah.
If we just look at the data from what you are doing at Bethel Tech where you're training people, but let's look across the board. When companies are going, okay, we need some talent, what are we talking about? What's a general range of a starting salary with what we would call basic skills that you just talked about?
Yeah, it keeps going up. So, we launched Bethel Tech over 5 years ago, and the average starting pay for a junior developer was $65,000. I think it's gone up to about $75,000 now. Starting pay, that's incredible.
Yeah.
1 to 2 years, it's not uncommon to be making six figures. I mean, you have a rocket ship trajectory if you can just get in the door. And the beauty about that is that you're not having to spend 4 years and $200,000 in a computer science degree that's highly theoretical. You can go to a program like ours for a fraction of the time, fraction of the cost, learn an immediately applicable skill, and get that job that you probably weren't even going to make that starting pay after your 4 years of college. And now companies are saying, we believe in programs like this so much, boot camps like Bethel Tech, that we want to work directly with them. We want to help frame what they're teaching so that we know exactly what we're getting from their graduates, but also so that we can send our employees through these programs and we'll pay for it.
So I love the conversation you hear, and I share it because, again, folks, technology is not going anywhere. With all of the new AI stories that we see, honestly, on a daily basis coming out of the media, how they're going to replace jobs. Let me tell you something. AI can only work with humans who help it work. Is it fantastic technology? Can it do amazing things? Absolutely. But not in and of itself without someone working it. That's just one example. Cybersecurity. It's not going anywhere. It's going to become more and more of an issue as we see the rise of hackers. This is big stuff. Technology itself will spit off more jobs. It always does. So the trades have long been, unfortunately, looked down upon by Americans because of the cultural message that said you need to go to college if you really want to be successful. That's the best way to make more money. So guys that are working blue-collar jobs and women that are working blue-collar jobs, they're not successful. Don't give me that. It's a bunch of crap. But with technology, what we're seeing is you can be trained in technology just like you can be trained for a trade, a traditional blue-collar trade. So this is the new-collar world of work. You can be in your 50s and 60s and 70s and learn tech. And if you got high character and you can do tech, you are hireable. And now we're going to talk about how technology is disrupting the university and college system and what it means to you. Here's more of my conversation with Ryan Collins.
Higher education has to work and collaborate with employers so that we can build what they're looking for.
Right.
We can't assume that we know what they're looking for.
Yeah.
That's prideful. And unfortunately, you see that in traditional education. Traditional higher education has failed the the customer, the consumer, the student. We have over 39 million people in the U.S. alone who have some college credit and no degree.
Yeah.
That's a waste of time and waste of money.
That's right.
So what we're looking at, Bethel Tech is, in some ways, it's an accelerated learning program. It's typically 36 weeks long, and it's $15,000 to $16,000 compared to 4 years and $200,000 for the same type of outcome that you get at a computer science program at a university. But now we're even disrupting our model. We would, in and of itself, would be considered a micro-credential. But now we're creating a micro-credential within our micro-credential. So instead of spending 36 weeks, we're actually launching this, I'm announcing it on your show, an 18-week, $5,000 program in front-end web development, which is highly employable. We're talking $75,000 to $85,000 starting pay. You get your foot in the door, get a job, and then if you want to persist on in our program, you don't have to start from zero. You just continue on so that you can get the full program.
And there's a good chance that the company pays for it.
Yeah. So here's a scenario. You go through our program, front-end web development. It's $5,000, plus we're doing a special discount for all Ken Coleman listeners.
So it's less than $5,000.
Yeah, it'd be a 10% tuition reduction.
Right.
And you get the job, $75,000. Let's say you get a job at Verizon as a junior front-end web developer. And then they give you $10,000 a year to go, or $8,500 to go back to school up front. So now you can continue on and go through our full stack program, starting where you left off on the front-end web development. And you're not so that's saving time and money, except for now the company's paying you. And then if you want to get your degree, our program transfers as 27 credits toward a computer science degree. And the company continues to pay for your education. So you see, we're stair-stepping the degree. We're unbundling education.
Yeah.
In the same way, the way that the metaphor I like to use, the illustration, is that, remember when we were growing up in the 90s, if we liked a song, maybe it was, I loved Pearl Jam, so I'll use that as an example.
There we
go.
go.
Vitology versus 10.
You don't get me humming it right now. I'm going to resist the urge to sing right now, but it's coming to me.
But if you liked a song on the radio, you went to Best Buy and you bought that CD.
That's right.
For the kids out there, we used to buy CDs.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and age myself just for a little bit of fun. That's what you would do. At my age, when a song came on, and so let's say it was Van Halen.
Oh, come on.
Okay, and you wanted it. What you would do is you would have a cassette tape in the boombox.
Yep.
All right. And when the song came on the radio, you would press record.
You did. Yes.
That's what we did in the old days.
I did that too. I did that too. Yes.
Okay.
I used to wait for the top 10 at 10.
Yeah.
And I would just push record.
Yeah.
That's
perfect.
But you would go and buy a tape, or you go and buy a CD for $20.
Yeah.
And you would hope that there were 3 or 4 songs on that album that you liked.
That's correct.
But you'd have to throw out another 6. You're like, oh, let me, how do I fast forward past that or go to the next one? But then Spotify happened, right? And then you got to create your own CD. You got to create your own playlist. And maybe there were 3 or 4 songs from Pearl Jam that you like. Mm-hmm. Maybe there were 3 or 4 songs from, I don't know, Soundgarden or
that's right.
Whoever.
Yeah, right. I'll throw in some old ones, Counting Crows.
Counting Crows.
A little bit of that in there from the old days. Little REM.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the mixtape.
It's the mixtape. Yeah. But you got to build it the way that you wanted to build it. Right. Now we're doing that with education.
Right.
And you're finding micro credentials that are employable skills so that you can get that job you're looking for. But we create a lifelong learning continuum in which you go from here to here. You're always learning.
Right.
And you're not having to take out copious amounts of student loan debt, but you actually have the company that will help you pay for it.
And it leads me to this. At what point, and I would suggest it might be happening, but at what point do we start to see high school kids by the tens and tens of thousands start to go straight from high school into tech jobs?
Yeah, it's already happening. So what was fascinating with Bethel Tech, when we started Bethel Tech, our typical demographic was a career pivoter, 30, 35 years old, stuck in a dead-end job, wanting to change their life and not having to drop everything to do that. So we met them where they're at. They could do it online. They could do it on their own time. They could do it in 9 months and go and get that in less than a year, go from making $35,000 as a call center rep to $70,000 as a junior developer. When COVID hit, and all of the campuses for traditional universities were forced to shut down, these 18-year-olds that were graduating high school, they were forced to take a gap year. So all of a sudden, we started getting these more and more 18-year-olds coming through our program and going through our program in 9 months, which they crushed it because this is like second nature to them. Like even if they'd never coded before, they just got it.
Yeah.
You know? And then 3 months later, get $65,000 jobs. And they're like, Ryan,
yeah,
I would have spent 4 years trying to do this and get this type. And now I've got everything that I want, and I'm continuing to learn, and my company's helping me get certifications that are important to me being promoted within my organization.
And can I make the case that if the kid goes to a 4-year program, spends a whole lot more money, a whole lot more time, they're going to come out and maybe start at the exact same salary?
Yeah, if not less.
If not. Okay, I want to pick up right there because I'm so excited. If we could get just a few parents in every state, just a few, that's all it would take. It literally would be a domino that I believe could revolutionize this country. If we could get a few parents who had the courage, the guts to sit down with their kid and go, hey, you've always been into technology. You told us you want to go into technology. We want to have a family conversation. So we saved up money for school. We don't have it. We got to get out some loans, or we're going to cash flow, whatever the financial situation is. But we want to tell you that you could go to a trade school, a technology trade school like a Bethel Tech, or any of the other ones that are out there. And in less than a year, and for a fraction of the cost, you can get a really good job on a ladder to success in technology, and you'll be 18, 19 years of age. Now, you're going to miss out on the fraternity parties, sorority parties. You're going to miss out on the campus experience. And I know most of your friends are probably going to go to college. But let me just show you what your now and your next looks like. And the parents had the guts, and I mean guts, because it is not a popular cultural message to sit down with Junior and say, Junior, you don't actually have to go to college to do the work you want to do. But if we had the guts, parents, to have the conversation, you might be surprised to see some kids who go, you know what? I don't want to go to college and spend 4 years studying, partying, whatever it is they're doing at school. I want to get right into the work. I don't want to go into debt and be like millions of Americans who come October are going to be up a creek. It's all it would take, because we got kids that could go right out of high school, right into the technology world, new collar jobs, making great money.